Okay, so welcome to Power Yoga. So we will start with some standing poses, work our way down to the mat, then get into some nice deep stretches before we finish with Shavasana. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start standing at the very top of your mat. Okay. Got another person coming in. I'm going to be mostly standing facing the side today so that you can see form and everything like that. If you have trouble hearing me at all, just let me know. Either send me a chat or unmute yourself and let me know, okay? All right, sounds good. Okay, so here we are starting at the top of our mat. Okay, so we're just going to be flowing through two positions for our warm-up. I want you to first make sure that your hips are tucked. Feel like you're pointing that tailbone down towards your mat. Belly button draws in towards the spine on your exhale, and it goes loose on your inhale. So roll shoulders back, standing up nice and tall. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Let's inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms down, bent knee, forward fold. Then come back up to mountain and sit the hips down for a half chair. Then come up and again, sweep down, bent knee, forward fold. So we're going to go through those two motions to start. Just keep flowing, keep that breath nice and even. And let's go ahead and do two more of those. Good. And then let's just come forward into a bent knee forward fold. All right, resting your palms on your shins. We're going to shift the shoulder blades down the spine so you can achieve that nice flat back. Very active through your mid-back. Release to a forward fold. Hands find your mat. Let's step the right foot back, followed by the left. Pausing in plank. Now to warm up a bit more through the core, let's pull the hips up, back to downward dog, and then come right back forward into plank. Good, back to down dog, forward to plank. Very nice, few more times. Keep your breath flowing even. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Good. Now coming forward to plank. First set through, we are going to modify chaturanga. So let's drop both the knees down to the mat, unhook those toes. Now we're going to bend the elbows. Those biceps are hugging your rib cage. Keep it in tight, all the way down. And then roll shoulders back, cobra. Release. And let's lift back up to downward facing dog. Good. Okay, let's try that again. Come forward to plank. Again, bend the knees, drop them down to mat, unhook your toes. Lower, modified chaturanga. Press to cobra, a little bit higher this time. Tuck your toes, draw the belly in, push back to downward facing dog. One more time, just like that. Come forward to plank, drop the knees, unhook the toes, and again, lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra. And come back up to downward facing dog. Now, throughout class, if you would like to do all of your chaturangas on your knees, you can feel free to do that, or you can keep your knees lifted as if doing a full push-up. Okay, now let's look towards the hands. We're going to push the hips way back towards our heels and then come forward to step back to a bent knee forward fold. Good. Round the spine all the way up to the top. Good. Okay, now we're going to go through sun salutation A. So feet are hip width apart, no wider. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Roll shoulders back, come up halfway, rest palms on the shins, shoulder blades shift towards the spine. Release back, forward fold. Hands find the mat. Step your right foot back, followed by left. Forward fold. Good. And lower down now here, chaturanga. Press to cobra. Your other option is also to lift to up dog, firming the tops of the legs. Draw the belly in, pull back to downward facing dog. Good. Now dropping the hips back towards the heels. Look towards the hands, step the right foot forward first, followed by left, forward fold. Again, roll shoulders back, come up halfway. Release, forward fold. And reverse swan dive up to mountain. Hands down, heart center. Good. Again, reaching arms up. Swan dive, forward fold. Roll shoulders back, come up halfway. Release back to forward fold. Hands find the mat. Step your left foot back first, followed by right for plank. And then again, lower through your vinyasa, chaturanga, press to cobra, or to up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Now again, drop the hips back towards the heels and step the left foot forward first, followed by right. Forward fold. Roll shoulders back, come up halfway. Release back to forward fold. Reverse swan dive up to mountain. Hands come down, heart center. Good. One more time through, a little bit quicker. Reaching arms up. Swan dive, forward fold. Roll shoulders back, come up halfway. Good. Release back to forward fold. Hands find the mat, and you can either step or hop back to plank, and then lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or to up dog. And pull back to downward facing dog. Good. Looking towards the hands, we either step or hop forward this time. Good. Roll shoulders back, up halfway. Release, forward fold. And reverse swan dive up to mountain. Hands down, heart center. Very good. Moving on. Let's make sure big toes are touching, heels are slightly parted. Okay, reaching up. Inhale, exhale. We're going to drop down to chair. Now, just like in your mountain pose, standing, you want to make sure that you're tucking your hips, tailbone is pointing down towards your mat. Power those arms up nice and strong, belly pulls in tight. Release, forward fold. Again, roll shoulders back, come up halfway. This time, power the arms back behind the hips. Firm through the triceps. Good, release to forward fold. Hands find the mat, step or hop back to plank. And lower through chaturanga. Shift to cobra or to up dog. Good, draw hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, looking towards the hands, we're going to bring the right knee forward as we shift forward to plank. We're gonna hover just for a moment and then step the right foot between the hands. Good. First time through, drop your back knee, unhook those toes. Sweep arms behind the hips, lift the chest. Release hands down around the front foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift the knee. Push back to downward facing dog. Now you can stay in downward facing dog, or you can come forward, take another vinyasa, lowering through chaturanga, shifting to cobra and up dog. Beautiful. Draw back to downward facing dog. Now looking towards the hands, we step the left foot forward, but first we're going to hover in that plank, knee to chest. Good, and step the foot there. Good, drop the back knee, unhook the toes, sweep arms behind the hips, lift the chest. Good, good. Arms come down around the foot. Tuck your back toes, lift the knees, step back, downward dog. Stay in downward dog or take another vinyasa. Good, beautiful. Draw back to downward facing dog. And then looking towards the hands, we either step or hop forward. Good, again, roll shoulders back, powering those arms back behind the hips, firm through the triceps. Release, forward fold. And reverse swan dive, back up to mountain. Hands down, heart center. Great work. Okay, again, adding on a little bit of variation here. Again, big toes touch. Heels slightly parted, reaching up, inhale, exhale, lower down for chair. Again, make sure you're always keeping those hips tucked. Beautiful. Now I want you to shift your weight to your left leg. You're gonna pick up your right heel. And then if you can, we're gonna lift that knee and try to extend that right leg out in front. So we're balancing on the left. Place that foot back down. Good. Shift your weight over to the right. Lift the left heel to start. Pick up the knee. Extend forward. Good. Place it back down. And release, forward fold. Roll shoulders back, coming up halfway. This time, let's reach the arms out into an airplane. So out to the right and left. Pinch the shoulder blades together. Release, forward fold. Hands find the mat, step or hop back to plank. Lower through chaturanga, press to cobra or up dog, and back to downward facing dog. Good. Now, let's go ahead and raise the right leg. And you want to flex your back foot, toes point down. Don't open the hips. Try to keep it square to the mat. Good. Now come forward to plank. Bring the knee into your chest. Let's hover there. One more moment. Now lift the hips, step the foot between the hands. Good. Sweep arms behind the hips, lift the chest. Crescent lunge. Now, just like we do in the forward fold, let's shift the torso forward and firm the triceps as you power those arms back behind the hips. We're holding steady through that front leg. Belly is pulling in strong. Again, reaching up. Circle the arms down around the foot. And slowly, as you can, step back to plank. Very good. Now you can either press back to down dog or take your vinyasa. Good, and we meet back in downward facing dog. Switching sides, left leg rises, flex the foot, toes point down, try to keep the hips square. Good, come forward to plank, knee into the chest. And now step the foot between the hands. Good, sweep the arms behind the hips, lift the chest, crescent lunge. Again, rotate the chest forward, power the arms back behind the hips. Good, again, lift. Sweep arms down around the foot. And then slowly as you can, we pick up that front foot, step back to plank. Wonderful. Either press back to downward dog or lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or up dog. Back to downward facing dog. Good. Now looking towards the hands, we either step or hop forward. Good, again, roll shoulders back, come up halfway. Release back to forward fold. And reverse swan dive up to mountain. Good, hands down, heart center. One more time through that sequence. We're gonna add on even more. All right, so reaching up, inhale, exhale, lower down, into chair. Now, hands are gonna come down to shoulder level, palms face down. Start by lifting your right heel. If you feel okay, we lift the left and try to balance on the balls of the feet. If you can, lower a little bit deeper. Good, place the heels down, release to forward fold. Again, roll shoulders back and airplane the arms. Perfect. Release, forward fold. Hands find the mat, step or hop back to plank. Lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or up dog. And back to downward facing dog. Right leg again lifts. Let's keep those hips square. Flex the foot, toes point down. Wonderful, come forward to plank, bring the knee with you. This time, try to twist the hips. Right knee comes towards the left elbow. Back to center and step the foot between the hands. Great work. Sweep arms behind the hips, lift the chest, crescent lunge. Again, shift the torso forward, firm the triceps, power them back behind the hips. Lift the chest. And this time, let's drop the left arm down on the inside of that right foot and take a twist. Drop that right arm down. And again, step back to plank. Beautiful. Lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or up dog. And back to downward facing dog. Switching sides. Left leg rises. Flex the foot. Good. Come forward to plank. Bring the knee into the chest. And this time, twist the hips, try to tap the opposite elbow. Come back to center, step the foot between the hands. Good. Sweep the arms behind the hips, lift the chest, crescent lunge. Shift the torso forward, firm the triceps as you power the arms behind the hips. Again, lift to crescent lunge. And now we'll take our twist to the left, dropping that right hand to the inside of the foot. Beautiful, guys. Drop that arm down. Step back to plank. Lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or to up dog. And from here, let's release. And before we move on, let's rest briefly in child's pose. All right, very good. Let's lift back up onto all fours. Okay, so let's start by rounding the spine up, tuck chin to the chest. Let that spine sag, lift the head and the tailbone. Come back to neutral. Good. Okay, extend your right arm forward, left leg back. Now pulling that belly in strong, rounding that spine like in cat and cow. We're going to tap knee to elbow and press back out. Twice more. Good. One more time. Good, send it back out. Now I want you to keep your leg lifted. Drop the arm down to mat. Now, hook your back toes, so you're hooking those toes, and press back to a single leg down dog. Beautiful. Come forward to plank, single leg plank if you can. Keep the leg lifted. If not, it's okay to drop it down to mat. And now lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or up dog. And pull back to down dog. Beautiful. Come forward to plank and drop down to all fours. Good. Okay, switching sides. Left arm powers forward, right leg back. Again, pull the tummy in strong as you tap knee to elbow. Push back. Twice more. Tap. Press back. One more. Tap. Press back. Good. Drop just the arm. Keep the leg lifted. Tuck your toes and push back to downward facing dog. Single leg. Good. Come forward to plank. Try to keep the leg lifted. Good. Lower through chaturanga. Press to cobra or up dog. Back to downward dog. And let's stay here in downward dog for 3 breaths. Very good. Okay, looking towards the hands, let's step just the right foot forward. Good. Okay, we're going to windmill the arms up. Spin the back foot so that the blade of your foot is parallel with the back of your mat. We lower into warrior 2. Flip your front palm, reverse that warrior. Good, look back to center. Rotate to the front, resting the elbow either on that front quad or come all the way down to mat, whatever feels more comfortable. Good. Now I want you to engage through the obliques to lift back up to reverse warrior. Good. Come back up to center, warrior 2. Start to straighten that front leg. Keep a soft bend in that front knee. Shift your torso forward. Rotate, extended side angle. Good. Again, lift back up to center. Drop down a little bit deeper into that warrior 2 if you can. Windmill the arms down around the foot. So you're picking up your back heel, so both toes are pointed forward, and step back to downward dog. Stay in downward dog, or you can take another vinyasa. Meet back in down dog. Good. I'm going to turn so that I stay facing you, but now we're going to bring that left leg forward and windmill those arms up and open to warrior 2. Beautiful. Flip the front palm, reverse. Come forward, resting the elbow on that front quad or drop all the way down, whatever feels better to you. Good. Again, engage through the obliques. Come back up to reverse warrior. Lift back to center. Come up out of that lunge. Shift the torso forward Rotate, extended side angle. Lift back up to center, drop down again a little bit deeper this time if you can. And windmill the arms down around the foot, step back to downward facing dog. And you can either stay here or come forward, take a vinyasa, and meet back in down dog. Again, let's stay in downward dog for 3 breaths. Okay, now from here, let's lift that right leg. This time we're going to bend the knee and open the hips to the right. Big stretch. Square hips back to center. Come forward to plank. Bring that knee into your chest. And again, try to twist, tap the left elbow. Shoot that leg back to single leg down dog, and again, open the hips. Again, come forward to center, bring the knee into plank, twist, tap the elbow, send it back one more time, open the hips. Come forward to plank, tap left elbow, last time. And then lift the hips, step the foot between the hands. Good. Again, we're going to lift to warrior 2. So windmill the arms, spin the back foot, drop down. Good. Again, flip the front palm, reverse warrior. Rotate forward, rest that elbow on the front knee or drop hand all the way down to mat. Now from here, we'll go straight into extended side angle. So try to start straightening that front leg. Good, again, take your lunge, windmill back up to warrior 2. Sink slightly deeper. And spin the arms down around the front foot, step back to downward dog. Stay in downward dog, or as always, take that vinyasa. Back to down dog. Beautiful. Switching sides, same sequence. Left leg is going to rise, then we bend the knee, open the hips. Good, coming forward to plank. We try to tap that right elbow. Shoot the leg back, again, open the hips. Again, come forward. Try to tap that right elbow. Press it back, last time, open the hips. Come forward, try to tap the elbow. And now step the foot between the hands. Good. Windmill the arms up to warrior 2. Good. And reverse warrior. Good. Come on forward. Resting the elbow on that front quad or coming all the way down. And from here, we're going straight into extended side angle. Straighten that front leg. Back into your lunge. Windmill back up to warrior 2. Sink a little deeper if you can. Good. And windmill the arms down around the foot. Step back to downward dog. Either stay in your downward dog or take your vinyasa. Back to down dog, good. And now from here, before we move on, come forward to plank, drop the knees, unhook the toes, rest in child's pose. All right, let's lift back up onto all fours again. Round the spine up, tuck chin to the chest. Release, let that spine sag, lift the tailbone and head. Again, come to neutral. Okay, return here. Okay, so we're gonna come back up and do some standing balance poses. Then we'll be taking it down to our mat to get ready for some stretches. You guys have done great work, all right? All right, tuck the toes, lift the knees, press back to downward dog. And then looking towards the hands, we either step or hop forward. Good. And round that spine all the way up. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna face you now. We're gonna go into our tree pose. So I'm gonna have you start by lifting your right leg. Okay, so let's go ahead and shift your weight to your left. You're gonna open your right knee to the side. To start, we're going to rest that heel right above the ankle. If you feel steady, we start to work it up onto the calf. And then if you feel steady still, you can work it up above the knee, just making sure it's never on the knee joint, or you can take a half lotus. Good. Now, if you'd like to challenge your balance even more, we can bring the arms up and open. Now, as we're here, we are not going to simply drop out of this pose and bring our foot down to the mat. We're going to try to be steady and release the leg gradually. So I'm going to have you bring your hands down through heart center. Good. Now, as you are ready, we slowly start to release that leg, and knee is going to come up to the front. Good. Try to hold it strong. And now drop that leg down. Very nice. Okay, so switching sides, let's shift our weight to the right leg. Open the left knee, rest the heel right above the ankle to start. If you feel steady, will you work it up? Work it up any amount, whatever feels good for you. Beautiful. And again, if you'd like, we bring the arms up and open. All right. So again, we're nice and slow. We'll start by bringing the hands back in. Slowly release the leg. Try to hold that knee up in the front. Hold pose. Good, and release on down. Beautiful. Okay, so coming back to the top of our mat, we've got one more balance exercise. So we're going to start by taking your left leg, and we're going to shoot it back into a crescent lunge. Okay. Good. Okay. Now from here, you can either have hands on hips, you can keep them right in the center, your choice. But we're going to be shifting forward to balance on our right leg, lifting the left leg back. If you'd like to watch me first, you can. But we're going to shoot forward, lift the back leg. And if you feel steady, you can reach the arms back behind the hips, again, firming those triceps. Good. Now very slowly, let's start to lower back into that crescent lunge. Very nice. And now let's step together. Beautiful work. Okay, one more to go. So now let's go ahead and pick up right leg, step it back into that crescent lunge. Okay, now as you're ready, you take it on your own pace. You'll start to shift forward and lift that back leg any amount. And remember, you can also power those arms back behind the hips if you'd like. And now slowly start to lower back into that lunge. Very good. And now let's step together. Good. And let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's just hang out in this forward fold here. Just try to relax. Great work. Good. Now hands find the mat, so bend your knees. And let's start to tiptoe the feet back towards downward dog. And again, let's just sit in down dog, really trying to press those heels down towards the mat and turn that tailbone up towards the sky so we can deepen that stretch all the way from the calves up into the glutes. All right, wonderful. Let's go ahead and come forward to plank just so we can drop the knees. Good, unhook your toes. And let's just walk our hands back so that you can drop your weight to one hip, bring your legs out in front, have a seat. Okay. So to start, we're going to do just a couple of rounds of boat pose, and then we'll move into some stretches. So you are at the home stretch, guys. You've done great, great work. Okay, so starting with knees bent, feet flat on the mat. We're gonna grip behind the knees and start to walk yourself back just to the point that you feel your abs tighten. Okay, once there, if this is challenging enough, I want you to keep your hands behind your knees. Or you can bring the arms out in front if you want a little bit more. And if you'd like more still, you can go ahead and lift both legs. Good, just breathe, breathe, no movement this first time through, just holding. Good, drop those feet down to mat if they're lifted. And now let's lift back up to center. And as we grip behind the knees, let's round the spine, touch into the chest. Good, come back up to neutral. Okay, this time we're gonna add just a little bit of movement. So again, let's start the same way. Walk yourself back until you feel your abs engage. Okay, now you can still stay here with your hands behind the knees if you need to. Or you can go ahead and reach those arms forward. Find your level if you're lifting those feet. Good. Okay, so we're gonna reach our arms up to the right side, right corner, and twist down to the left. Then reach up to the left, and take it down to the right. So it's like we're making a big figure 8 with our arms. Nice twist. Little twist in the torso. Great work. Keep it going. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in the center. Good. And then if your feet are lifted, drop them down, lift up, reach behind the knees, release the spine, tuck chin to the chest. Good. And come to neutral. All right, let's release those legs out in front. And it's time to stretch. Okay, so we're gonna start with just a nice, easy forward fold. So reaching arms up, inhale. Exhale, leading with the chest. Come forward into your seated forward fold. Now, if your knees start to pop up, we're stretching a little too far. Okay, so just lift up a little bit higher. All right, let's lift on up. Good. Okay, so we're gonna reach arms out in front and slowly using your tummy, I want you to lower all the way down to the mat. Good. Once there, I want you to just gently flip over to your stomach. We did a lot of lower body work today, so I want to make sure that we hit those quads and those hip flexors. Okay, so starting out, we're going to bend the right knee, grip back with the right hand. Now, as you pull that heel towards your glute, I want you to gently press your hips into the mat to deepen that stretch into your hip flexors. Wonderful. Let's release and switch. Again, when you're set, gently press those hips down into the mat, deepen the stretch up into the hip. Good. Now let's release there. Okay. All right, so we're going to lift back just briefly for a moment into downward facing dog. I'm gonna actually turn myself so you can see what I'm doing here. We're gonna move into pigeon pose. If you're not familiar with that pose, watch me first. So you're gonna bring your right leg forward and you're gonna lay the outside of the leg down onto the mat. Good. Okay. Now, if this feels like a good enough stretch for you, you can stay here, but if you'd like, you can also fold forward. All right, great job. Go ahead. If you're lowered forward, let's lift back up onto the hands. Tuck your back toes so you can briefly push back to downward dog, and then switch sides. So bring your left leg forward, release. Good. And again, if it's more comfortable to stay up on your hands, do that. Otherwise, you can fold forward. All right, very nice. Let's go ahead and lift back up onto the hands if you're folded forward. And then just drop your weight completely to that left hip so you can bring your legs out in front. Okay, just a couple more stretches and then Shavasana. So let's get through the inner thigh. So we're gonna open legs out to the side. And then if this is stretching you enough, we just stay up. Or you can start to lean slightly forward. Maybe you grab just below the knees, ankles, insteps, or just out in front, whatever feels best to you. Good, now let's lift the chest. Stay up nice and high here. Okay, so you're gonna take your right hand, reach it out onto your right leg, left arm up and over. And let's lift, switch sides. And lift. Very nice. Now you can walk those legs in together. Maybe give them a little shake. And then bending the knees, grip behind those knees. Let's just walk ourselves all the way down to the mat. Okay. So for final Shavasana here, we just want to lay with our eyes closed, arms open to the side. Allow those feet to fall open. Yes, close those eyes. Allow your shoulders to fall back towards your mat. No more tension through your chest or through the belly. I want you to even feel like you're allowing the muscles of your face to relax. Take a mental scan of everywhere in your body. Are you truly letting those muscles relax? Nice, deep, slow breaths. With each exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit deeper into your mat. And now let's bring our attention back to our body by wiggling our fingers and toes first. Maybe you gently tense up some of your muscles. And as you feel ready, let's draw your knees to your chest and rock nice and easy side to side, massaging your low back. Allow yourself to fall to one side. And from there, you can gently press yourself back up to your seated position. Very nice. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. You did fantastic work. We did a lot of hard work. So I hope you feel a little more relaxed now, a little bit more positive. So All right. Thank you guys. Namaste. Have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. All right. Bye, guys.